You're doing
I
it?
will give the countdown.
You're doing it?
Yeah, alright. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So this is Ball Race. It's a game mode in a collection of games called Tower Unite. And this is the map Woodlands. They're going to go through tons of different maps. The first one, of course, being Woodlands. They're going to be doing a lot of different cuts throughout, but it's going to be interesting through all. So how it works is that your goal is to get from one side of the map to the other. And in each map, there's a certain amount of levels you can see at the top right of the screen. And with that, it's a kind of goal to get through the level as fast as can, and that's why we do. We speedrun this on for that. So at the current moment, we see Arctic at level 3.
It's kind of natural to compare this game to Super Monkey Ball.
Yes, it is based off Super Monkey Ball.
Yeah, it's like a clone of Super Monkey Ball, but the biggest difference I think is your ball is a lot like bouncier, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and the other big difference is that the level doesn't move with the character. The character just moves in the ball. So we have the two different players with these levels. At the current moment, you will see right now Arctic's at the bonus level. At the bonus level, the goal usually is to collect as much bananas as possible, bananas melons. But since we're in a speedrun, we will kill ourselves so we can just get through this quicker.
It's just like Super Monkey Ball. So a lot of the skips we see, we call them skips. We don't call them strats. But a lot of the skips we see take advantage of the fact that the ball is a lot bouncier than it is in Monkey Ball. So you might like bounce off the corner of the level or something like that. We'll be seeing that a lot. We're about to see Arctic here. He bounces off the boxes and to keep his speed.
You're behind. You're behind.
I'm really behind.
You're behind. With, for example, like you'll see at times the runners will bounce off like a bumper or a box to send them into a certain direction, or to like maintain speed as they go around a corner. So in this case, with Kit, you're gonna, instead of normally there's a lot of different things you could do, but he's gonna run into the wall to keep maintaining his speed instead of just running on the bottom of it. And now we see Arctic going into Event Horizon. And Kit on level 10. You're gonna see Kit here not hit the bumper and go into the goal. In Event Horizon, one of the main things that makes Event interesting is that they're the stars. The stars have different properties. One of them is that if you hit the black part of the star, the rim of it, it will send you higher than you're supposed to. And with that, you can do some pretty interesting shortcuts with it. And now we see Kit going into Event Horizon.
Does anyone know why those stars work that way? Or is it just like a bug?
I think the reason they work that way is due to when they made them, they put the properties of the star all over it, so you can't like hit the star and just fall. But for some reason, I guess the black part is just amplified. Don't know why. Maybe it was intentional. We don't know. Some stars, though, they will send you further because, like, you're supposed to clear gaps. But in, like, cases like with Kit, you saw at the beginning with the 2 stars, they didn't send them as high as the one he just hit now.
Yeah, every star is different, but in general, the black part of the star bounces you more than the yellow parts.
Yes. One thing I want to mention is that you may not be seeing it, but at some point, maybe in a different level, the characters will, the players will try to squeeze themselves between an object and the platform to send them further. That is called a pinch. It has to do with Unreal's engine and how it works with its physics with the ball, which allow oh.
So, Dan just messaged me saying, he said I died, but I guess that just means...
My internet died for a sec.
Okay. You good now?
Yeah, I think so. 1 sec. It will allow me to reconnect. Alright. So, we're back. For example, with the stars, you can see that Arctic just tried to attempt the level 9 skip, which allows you to hit the edge and then fly across the entire level.
Okay, so I'm not sure why that star is as powerful as it is to begin with.
Yeah, like most new players don't actually hit that star, which is interesting. And you see Kit going for the level 6 skip, which has to do with the stars. The lower star can actually send you high enough to hit the higher one, but it's rather difficult, so it's just more reliable to go for to hit it twice. So throughout the level, as you've been seeing, you'll see the different runners hit the stars to either gain distance or to clear a gap.
By hitting it twice, you're giving yourself enough time to set yourself up for like a good hit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they hit it twice.
Yeah. And also allows them to get more height. The more you hit it, the higher you go as time goes on. But it only affects if you hit it with the black part. If you're just to hit the yellow part of the star multiple times, you ain't gonna get that much height. With the black part of the star, you're gonna get a lot more height with it. What you just saw there was the level 12 skip, which requires the players to go through a small gap.
They tried really hard to make that skip not possible, but people still do it anyway.
Yeah, it was really easy when the map came out, but then they made it harder. And you just saw Kid do the level 9 skip, and Arctic setting to level 14. Now, with level 14, one of the interesting parts of it is that the level is just a straightforward, you just run straight forward and make it to the end of the goal.
You pretty much just hold W, but there's this little bit of a hill. It's faster to jump off the side of the hill and cut off a bit of, like a tiny bit of the distance.
Alright. So next we're heading into Oasis with Arctic. One of the different things that the player, there's a lot of different areas where the players can hit aside and cut off a small bit of time, or they can get themselves launched into something and get launched upwards. On level 2 for Oasis, the fastest route is to go right. So with it, it's not worth it to go forward or left due to how much times you hit the edges of the pipe.
Yeah, there's like a dead stop, and then it's meant to drop you.
Yeah. While with the right side, you can just hold forward and keep going. Basically, your goal in Oasis is to make sure you can get through without falling off and hitting the sides too much to maintain your speed. We see now Kit finishing level 14 and heading towards Oasis. The carpet is an instance where you can pinch yourself, but it's a matter of if they do it or not. It is not that easy in single player due to a recent thing with pinching, that pinching affects with frames, how many frames you get, and with a recent addition, they cap the frames to 60 for single player, meaning that it is not possible to do most pinches, but some of them still can be done in single player. Now we one of the things. Go.
I was gonna say, also, if you're hosting an online game, it caps you at 60, and they did that for reliability.
Yes. One of the skips you'll see Arctic attempt is to climb the pyramid, is to avoid the falling rocks, but it's not as easy as it looks. It requires you to stay on a very small, thin line and not get pushed off of it. See if he gets it.
I remember Kit told me exactly. So the reason you could climb up the corner of the pyramid is because it's less steep than the sides are. And Kit told me exactly how much less steep, but I don't remember. It was like 1.44 times or something like that.
Alright. Arctic is now heading to level 7, which has this pipe which you can run on to get to the goal, but is one of the most difficult cuts in the game, so you won't be seeing him attempt it here. So what players do is they get to the end and they get to the pipe that sent you forward, and you see Kit here getting the skip I mentioned earlier with the pyramid. Next, you'll see with these bumpers that they can push you to the right. They have, for some reason, these bumpers have a higher velocity that they push, so it allows the players to get to the other side rather quickly.
It is possible to, if you get lucky, you can go straight from the bumper directly into the goal.
Oh yeah, that was found by one of the a player who came to this game rather recently in last year, called Umbry. He's a really good player at this game, I will say. Though it's not worth it to go for a speedrun setting, so most people just go for the consistent way of just hitting the bumper at the top and getting to the other side.
Yeah, all the individual level skips for this game are just completely ridiculous.
Yes. There's different skips that you can do that are interesting, but some are more difficult than others, obviously. And we see the only goal in the entire game to be different, which is the last level of Oasis, level 11.
Is that actually the only different goal?
Yes, other than Event Horizon's black holes.
Okay.
But it's the only thing that has a unique goal for one specific level.
Okay, the black holes in Event Horizon are the same goals, but they just have this black circle on them.
Yeah. And now we see Arctic going into Kamidro, or how I pronounce it, Kamodro. The Kamodro is probably the most speedrun centric level in the game. There are lots of different skips you can do. for this map. It has probably the most skips out of any map. So it's interesting to run it to see players run through the level rather easily.
There's also a lot of different strategies you can go for because the levels are so big. They have a lot of opportunities to try different things.
Yeah, as you see, like with Arctic, he did a different strat to Kit on level 1, while Kit did the faster strat. One other thing with Komodo is that there's a lot of islands. These islands can be used for different cuts, such as level 3 and level 3, 4? Yeah, 4. And other levels you'll see throughout. One of the things you can do in levels such as like level 3, as you may see Kit here, when they run, you can go inside the little gap to cut off a bit of time, but it's a rather risky strat. Level 4 has some interesting different ways you can do the cut. You can do it where you simply just run and hit the edge. You can hit the rock.
Yeah, we used to call it rock skip.
Or you can hit like the moving platforms to skip the entire gap. So it's interesting to see which ways players do it.
It's all just preference too. Like the Kit says it's easier to hit the ledge on the island, but I find it's easier to do the rock.
Yeah, same here. I find it easier to do the rock. It's all preference on what you feel like doing it.
My hands are cold. Send help.
Alright, as you see Arctic and Kit doing here is rock skip, which allows them to another rock skip, which allows them to completely skip the entire level by hitting the rock and getting to the other gap, into the gap.
Yeah, it is possible to make that gap without hitting the rock, but the rock is faced upward a tiny bit, so when you hit it, it gives you a little tiny bit of upward momentum, and that just makes it more consistent, because without it, it's really hard.
So now both players are going to the bonus level, which, like every bonus level, you have to kill yourself to progress it, or collect the melons. But in some bonus levels, mainly Galaxy and a few others, you can actually finish them, but it is not worth finishing them in a speedrun setting. It's just a little cool feature that you can do on these levels. One of the other skips is with this rod. This allows you to hit it and fly to the end.
Yeah, that's another one that takes advantage of the fact that the ball is bouncy. Because the rod doesn't actually give you enough speed to make it over. You have to kind of run into it. A lot of people are confused about that skip.
Yeah. With the ball being bouncy, you can hit different edges, as you saw with Kit, to get up to the higher part of the the platform going upwards. You'll see the bumpers on Kit's perspective, to where you can just maneuver them and then go into a skip which sends you flying upwards.
So what's supposed to happen here is you're supposed to, it's kind of like the level inverts and the gravity turns upside down and the level then is
played
above you. But you could the gravity doesn't actually turn upside down, it just pushes you. There's like an invisible box that pushes you upwards.
Yeah. Now, for level 12, there's lots of different ways you can do that skip, which makes it interesting to see which ways people do it. Now, we will see both players going to Prism, which is the longest level in the entire game, 15 levels. It takes about 7 to 8 minutes for the average player average speedrun to play, and probably about 15 for a group of players to finish it. It has to do with these platforms called loop blocks, which is based on It's based on the music, and it goes sync with it.
I'm not sure if it's actually synchronized with the music. I think they just change at the same tempo as the music.
I feel like it has to just with the music, but yeah. One of the things you'll see in this are buttons, which you can most of them are not required to press at all. Example, for another level you'll see later, Paradise 1. And even on this level, Prism 2, you can skip the button, but it's a rather difficult skip. So it's worth it. It's more worth it just to press the button and progress. One of the things you also see is the players like slowing down at the end of the prism goals. It's so they can get into the prism goal quicker, which allows them to just not have to bump around.
Yeah, you want to spend as little time like bumping around inside the funnel as possible. Mm-hmm. It's actually really satisfying when you don't bump around at all. We call it a swish.
It's more possible on other levels, but it's easier. It's easiest in levels where you can simply just slow down and go straight in. In this level, as you see, the blue box are on the right. It's better to simply just go on the left because the small platform is actually quicker than the bigger platform.
Oh, well, it's less distance and you don't have to wait for the platforms to appear.
Mm-hmm.
Boys, mind if I hop in to talk some incentives real quick?
Yes. Sure.
But yes, you do, or yes, go ahead. Either way, I'm going to do it. So, perfect. All right, so just a real quick reminder to anyone listening that if you donate $5 or more from now until the end of Risk of Rain 2 in about an hour's time, you will be entered into a draw to win a Steam key for Demon Crawl, which was the game that we just last saw by Razorflame. Super awesome Minesweeper roguelike RPG. But yeah, so just $5 and you can get entered for that. We have 3 keys to give away. So any donation, $5 or more, will get you entered for that. And also, speaking of donations, we have a Zelda 2 Adventure of Link randomizer coming up just after Risk of Rain 2. And there are 2 bid wars for that. One of them is for the sprite choice, and the other one is to pick the file name. So if you want to get your donations in for that, you have around an hour as well, I would say, just over an hour. So I'll keep you updated, but yeah, thank you.
Alright, so one of the things you'll be seeing the different players do on this level is you see the 2 buttons. Those buttons are required to progress through the level, but you can actually skip different rotations to get these buttons quicker. So you may see some of the players just simply run at the platform to make it to a cycle, which allows them to just basically skip an entire rotation like what Kit just did, just skipping all the platforms and allowing him to hit the button, which then allows him to progress into the middle.
Skipping those platforms, by the way, is really hard.
Yeah, it is. It's not as easy as it looks. It requires a certain cycle. You can do it from the start just by running into it, but it's rather difficult just to do that even. One of the different things about Prism as well is like Event Horizon has trampolines. Unlike Event Horizon, the trampoline is only has the bouncy effect upwards. If you hit the side of the trampoline where the metal is, it will actually keep you there. Like, it won't bounce you upwards. So you have to bounce on it multiple times just to even go to progress the level.
It's actually really annoying if they hit the edge of the trampoline, because it just kills all your speed.
It does kill all your speed. In this next level, on level 10, you'll see the players just avoid the button altogether. there's 2 buttons, and they'll avoid it altogether by hitting the edge, jumping over the wall, which saves a good amount of time.
It's funny to play that level with people who are not so experienced in ball race because they will get stuck on that level, and you can just bypass the whole point of it.
Yeah, you bypass the main point of the difficulty of that level, which is simply pressing the buttons by just hopping over the gate, which stops it from allowing you to progress. Like, you'll see Kit attempt it here, to which he succeeds.
It's not really that hard. I think that one's looks more impressive than it is.
Yeah, it's not that difficult. The main difficulty is just really getting the height, which is not that difficult at all.
Yeah, you have a pretty big run up to do it.
And one of the things you will also see is in level 15, when we get there, there's a button at the top of the level which you're required to press. But if you're in a multiplayer lobby, you can have someone press the level for you. That's how the button for you. That's how you're able to get a lot faster times due to someone already pressing the button. But due to them having to press the button, they are required to hit the trampoline a good amount of times to go through the level. What you just saw there was Arctic hitting the bumper as in Oasis 9 to push you forward.
I think that was the first time that players figured out you could use the bumpers to skip part of the level.
Yeah, Prism actually came out before Oasis, so these levels are based on how Pixeltel themselves has ordered the levels, which is based on release order. So we're actually playing them backwards in release order. So Woodlands, which is the first time we played, was the newest one. The one we're playing came out in the 3.0, the 0.30, 0.3.0 update, or also known as the weapons update. And as we progress, the maps will get older and older.
By the way, the button on level 15 here is on a little platform, and it's hilarious because if you go on top of the platform, there's just a little text that says absolutely nothing.
And now we see Arctic going to Summit, which is it's a skill-oriented level. The first few levels do have some really easy cuts, but as time goes on, it gets harder with the different things you go through. It's not that difficult to progress, but to go fast in it is not that easy. Example in level 2 here, you'll see him going up the rock, up to the right and down to the right to enter the goal.
Yeah, in some of the later levels, you rely a lot on the collision. And the collision in this game isn't perfect. I also want to point out that the entire level is made out of these blocks. This used to be a Gmod game, so they had to physically build the levels out of these little blocks. But it has the consequence now that you could get bad collisions, or they'll bounce you upwards and you'll lose a lot of speed. Like
what happened to the Kit just now, where he bounced upwards instead of just simply going into the goal. The game pressed him, and when he hit the platform, it pushed him back. What's interesting is due to the fact that this game was a Gmod game mode, a good amount of levels from that game have been ported over to Tower Unite. One of them, while this is not one of them, you'll see some other ones such as Memories and Midori, which are the last 2 levels you'll see them playing, which are ported from GMT, which stands for Gmod Tower, which is the game mode from it.
The history of Tower Unite itself is a little bit interesting because it used to be a Gmod game, and at some point they had like a GoFundMe or Kickstarter or something like that.
It was like a Kickstarter.
And they ported the whole game over to Unity, but Unity, I don't exactly know what the details of it were, but they ended up switching again over to Unreal Engine 4.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that's interesting about that whole between the launch of TU and GMT is that the reason they even ported over is just because they had ideas that weren't possible in Gmod, so they wanted to make their own standalone game at that point. At launch, the game was not it did not run well. In multiplayer for Ball Race, you simply could not, it was not really playable at all because of, like, everyone having, like, 300 ping. It wasn't, like, the host or anything. It had to do with the game just not being able to handle multiple players.
There's a lot of memes just based on, like, how the game fails to run. Like, a lot of people like to complain about the netcode. Whenever there's an issue, that's just like the first complaint we tend to go for.
Is the netcode is garbage. Yeah, the netcode. The reason of the cap frame rates anyway was because of the netcode.
Yeah, that was the reliability issues that I was talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
There was also a player model that was just a texture of the crash, like the crash screen, and it says fatal error.
As you see what you just saw Kit do there, that is a pinch. He squeezed himself between the two platforms, and that launched him upwards. While he did hit a tree, it launched him upwards to get to the higher platform.
Yeah, he was able to skip below the level.
Mm-hmm.
That is the fastest way to do that level, I think, is you climb up the mountain and then do that pinch.
Mm-hmm. It is. And now, I believe, after Arctic finishes here, we'll be seeing him go into the next level, which I believe is Galaxy.
Or GLXY.
Yeah. As Kitoko over here likes to pronounce it. Yep, Galaxy. So, with it, one of the things with Galaxy is that, of course, it has a lot of colors in it, and it also has these same kind of platforms as Summit. So, what happened earlier when it pushed them backwards, it can also happen here. Not to the same extent as Summit, though. Galaxy it occasionally does that when you bounce from a gap or something.
The Galaxy level 2 skip there is actually really hard. I could never figure it out, but apparently Kit says he knows where to bounce.
You bounce was at the corner. There's like a little corner you'll hit.
Yeah, it's so hard to get a feel for it, because if you don't hit like a pretty precise spot, you just lose all your speed and die.
Yeah, you don't get enough distance to clear the gap. In Galaxy, there's a lot of different like places you can simply just take different paths or clear different gaps by using the platforms or like the parts of the map around it to skip the levels.
Yeah, now it's a good time to point out that you don't actually have to hit the finish that is on the level that you started on. So we'll be seeing, there's a level later where it's both easier and faster to turn around and just jump to the other level because it's like below you.
Yeah, that's one of the things that is, I believe, the level 9 skip, which basically puts you back at level 8, or no, level 10 to level 9.
It's the level before it, yeah.
Yeah, it puts you the level before it. So Galaxy is, as I mentioned earlier, one of the few bonus levels you can actually finish. You won't be seeing any of the players do it unless they feel like doing it, but which they most likely won't. But it's a cool little point to allow a person to finish a level. How you do it is you pinch with the platforms like you saw Kitoko do in Summit, which allows you to get over the death barrier and into the goal. So the level that Arctic is on right now is the level you will jump back to on level 10, because it's simply faster to play level 9 again than to simply play level 10.
Poor level 10.
Are we actually going to see Kit attempt to go for the Galaxy bonus finish? And he did. He went to a different level, and he's going to jump back to a different level to finish it, or simply finish the level he's on. It's one of the few levels you can actually finish the bonus on, which is a cool little thing you can add. It's not faster at all, but it's just something that's fun to do.
It's fun because people who don't have a lot of experience get really confused.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been called a cheater more than once.
A lot of new players think that these different cuts are in a way cheating, but at the same time, no, none of them are actually cheating, to be honest, because it has to do with oh god, vote kicks. Vote kicks are a thing that usually new players use if they feel like that the player they think is cheating, so they will just try to vote kick you out of the lobby. Happens a good amount of times.
Yeah, a lot of people just don't like the vote kick system because it's either used for things that it shouldn't be used for, or it's too hard to vote kick people who should actually be vote kicked.
Mm-hmm. That is one of the problems with the vote kick system. You have one or two friends, it will just simply if the person you're trying to vote kick has 2 or 3 friends, then they can just say no. Alright, we're about to see Arctic go into the next level, which I think is Paradise.
So Arctic got a new... I just want to say something. Arctic got a new best, and it was only rank 90 something, I think I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for that is because, well, for one, Galaxy is the most played level.
It is the fan favorite level out of the entire game. There was a vote, and it was voted the highest, the best level for Ball Race by the community.
But also the official the official leaderboard has issues with people glitching times.
Mm-hmm. That's mainly an issue on most levels. The biggest map that has that issue is Event Horizon level 14, which the best time, the best actual legit time is level at 52 or something.
Yeah, rank 52 on the leaderboard.
Yeah.
And then everything else is they cause the server to lag and the timer doesn't go or something like that.
Mm-hmm. That's why it's rank 62. Yeah. Not 52. And the rank 1 is done by Kitoko here. He's also the highest person in XP with
40
Arctic
million.
over here. Yeah, 40 million, and with Arctic over here actually being the highest person in XP for mini golf, which is another game in this collage of games, but the one we're playing now, of course, is Ball Race.
Yeah, so the point of Tower Unite at large is that it's like a social game, kind of like VR chat or something like that. But the main thing is you get a condo, or you could buy different condos, and then you decorate them with money that you get from the mini games.
Mm-hmm. And unlike this game in GMT, one of the things that was required to do to even play the game modes was to get multiple people to play. While with this, you could simply just boot into a single player game. And I think for Ball Race and GMT, it required like 4 people just to play Ball Race in itself.
Yeah, now you could host a multiplayer server just by yourself. There's no like limit to it. There are some game modes that have that limit though, because they just wouldn't make sense without it.
Yeah.
You boys mind if I make my routine pop in?
Sure. Go ahead. Go for it.
So just a quick reminder once more. After this run, we'll be having Risk of Rain 2. And at the end of this run, at the end of that run, we will be cutting off the deadline for getting any $5 donation towards a Steam key giveaway. We have 3 Steam keys to give away for Demon Crawl, which is the game that you saw just before Bull Race. And as I said, any $5 donation will put you in a... will give you an entry towards potentially winning a key for Demon Crawl. And as I said, that goes all the way till the end of Risk of Rain 2. So you have about 40 minutes or so. Also, we have Zelda 2 Randomizer coming up. And there's 2 different bid wars for that. One is to choose the sprite choice, but a bunch of choices there. And also, there is a file name bid war. So if you want to get your name on the file name, or maybe, you know, give it to your best friend, your mother, name it after your dog, or something, then yeah, be sure to get those donations in for that. We also have a quick donation from Snowy with $5, so they will be going and potentially getting a Steam key from us that says "Go Kit." Thank you very much for your donation.
That Snowy, just for people who don't know, Snowy is the best player in the level Nimbus, which you'll be seeing, I think, after this. So, which is interesting to say the least.
The significance of that is like the speedrunning community for Ball Race is kind of tight knit because we have like our own channels and stuff. Thanks to Kit.
We're gonna see Arctic go into Nimbus. We see Kid over here. Yep, he's in Nimbus. We have seen Kid do the level 9 skip, which with the platforms you can run to that. You can use the speed of the ball to get to the other side. It was actually found by the developers themselves, hence why there's a wall there, but they didn't do that well in fixing it. So you can just go under the wall and still make it.
Yeah, it's the same situation as in Event Horizon where they tried to make the level harder to bypass, but like if there's a way to do it, like we'll figure it out.
Nimbus is actually the shortest level in the game. It is possible to beat this level under 3 minutes very easily, and it's the beginner level. You're meant to play this level when you first play the map, but most people don't, obviously, because there's no indication of, hey, play this level first, kind of thing. But it's still interesting to say the least. You'll be seeing a lot of different bumpers on this level.
All the levels are ranked. They have like a difficulty ranking. So they'll be like easy, medium, hard, very hard. There used to be a very easy, but the rankings aren't perfectly accurate. So the very easy level got promoted to an easy level.
Yeah, that very it was Woodlands.
Yeah, the first one we did. Personally, I think it should be medium.
But the difference between the different difficulties is that you will get more XP and more money as the more difficulty it goes.
Yeah,
so
that goes to like the whole condos thing that I was talking about earlier.
So like the harder the level is, the higher the multiplier is. So like while you're seeing Arctic get 600 XP for finishing the level with no deaths, and like the next level, which is gonna be Midori, which is a very hard map, it will be multiplied by I think 3 or like 1.3 or something. 1.3.
So each difficulty gives it like an extra 0.1 to the multiplier or something like that.
Yeah. And when it was very easy, I think it was 0.07. Well, 0.7. And you just saw Arctic finish Nemesis is going to go into Midori, which is considered by a lot of people to be the most difficult level. In which the main difficulty with it is that there's a lot of moving platforms. You have to keep your speed and your momentum on the platform and not fall off, which for a lot of new players is very difficult. But you'll be seeing the speedrunners do different skips to get across the level. Such as you'll see one in level 4 where they just skip the entire level. That you'll see them do it. One of the interesting things about Midori is that the last level on Midori isn't actually the last level, technically, because in GMT, which was where this map was originally from, this map was a beta and had like an extra 7 levels at the end, which they all removed because, to be honest, the levels weren't that good, and the difficulty on them was not good either. They were rather difficult to pass due to it being a beta and not being a finished map.
I don't know if these guys have their music on or if you can hear it in the stream, but the music in Midori is like a bit of a meme because the lyrics are just completely nonsense. They're talking about like a robot in the sky.
Yeah. Fun fact about that, the robot is actually in GMT, the GMT version of the map, but they removed it for some reason.
There was like an actual robot. It was kind of funny.
Midori is also another level which you can finish the bonus level on, but it is not possible really anymore due to a recent fix which fixed a major exploit which allowed players to go through death barriers and launch themselves upwards. That is one of the things that before the recent change, it was a banned thing with the speedrun because not everyone could do it. It required a certain amount of items with your inventory, due to when you load the inventory, it would lag your game, which for some reason when it lagged, it would disable the death barriers.
The moving parts are server self-syncing, so they will try to be at the point that the server tells them to at all times. But if you cause enough lag, what happens is they'll stop where they are for a few moments, and then the server will tell them, oh, you should be in some position, and then they'll like snap immediately, and that would have given you enough momentum to do a lot of really silly things in Midori.
As I mentioned before, with the pause buffering, it was called pause buffering, which was the exploit that since it got fixed, a lot of the leaderboards for Midori were affected. Like, it's really difficult. It's not possible to get a top 10 time in Midori anymore due to most of the levels being taken by that pause buffer exploit due to another recent update which allowed when you lagged right at the edge of a platform to simply fly across the entire map. No, we cannot delete the bonus level kit.
This honestly is the worst bonus level because there aren't enough melons and they're too hard to get.
Mhm.
And it's not like in Event Horizon where they were being nice and added this spike wall behind you, so if you didn't want to do it, you could just pop yourself 3 times.
Yeah.
And the death berry is really far down because the whole level is vertical.
Was it one of the things I want to mention is that when Kit mentioned the about deleting the bonus level and such, one of the interesting facts is that Nimbus itself is the only map that doesn't have a bonus level. Well, it does, but it doesn't have any melons on it, and you're not meant to go there. But you can get there with a pinch that is really high up.
I'm not sure why they decided to make that the only level without a bonus.
I don't know. It's probably because of how small the actual platform it is. So, I don't think they wanted to make a bigger platform. But yeah, now we're going to the final map, which is Memories. This one is also from GNT. As you see with the skip that Arctic is attempting here, you can hit the edge of the platform and skip over a death barrier, and then use the attractors, which are these red like pylon things that pull you in to get into the goal.
Yeah, they're meant to be hazards, but like we just abuse the fact that they give you momentum.
There's two different pylons. There's the attractors, which I mentioned before, and repellers. Repellers are the blue ones. They simply push you away, but not on much of the levels here, mainly because most of them are just replaced with attractors. But it's interesting to see what you can do with the different repellers and attractors to skip over the different parts of the level. And now we see Kit going into Memories.
There is one level where the repellers are really important. It's like it's the intended way to do the level is you like go over a bunch of repellers.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Memories 4, which you just saw Arctic finish. That on the left side allows you, the repellers allow you to push you upwards and allow you to skip over the gap.
There were also repellers in like Midori.
Midori, yeah. There's not many in Midori, but they're there. One of the interesting parts about Memories and the different leaderboard systems is that there is a player named Bumpy. This player played for about a month, and he set some times that still to this day you have to be beaten. And there was a bounty for different levels, and one of them was Memories 4. And on Memories 4, a player named Fresh happened to beat it, and he ended up getting this is he got Kitoko got a rank 10 from Memories 4. But the player Fresh managed to beat Bumpy's time, which in case got him Discord Nitro and a free $50 Steam game from myself. One of the interesting things is that there is a level. It is level 12 on this map, and that level is the run killer for a lot of people's achievements. There's an achievement called the King of Memories, which requires you to get through the map after without dying at all. And that map kills a lot of people's runs for that exact reason, due to how small it is, and the bumpers and the tractors pulling you in.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you have to dodge, and unless you're really skilled or really lucky, it's like, impossible.
That's why if you were to play this map, you see a lot of people join on the last level, which there's a bug, which if a player was to join mid-game, if he doesn't die at all for the rest of the map, he will still get the achievement, so you just have to play all the levels. So any person can simply just join on the last level to get the achievement,
Yeah,
which you'll see a lot of people attempt to do.
the game doesn't actually check if you've played all the levels, just that you finished the last level without dying.
And that at the point, basically, it checks to see if you died for the achievement. Once you died, it just kind of ignores everything else. But if you rejoin, that check mark of hey, you died is just kind of gone. And we'll see Arctic finish the last level and be time. Last few levels for Kid here. You'll see he's gonna most likely attempt a pinch, which allows him to fly to the end of the level, as you see there. And as we're talking about level 12, that level for a lot of people is difficult.
That pinch was pretty good.
That pinch was pretty good, I will say. And as you see, Kid did die there. The bumpers are the main killers for most people on that level.
Yeah.
And we're seeing Kid finish, go into last level. And time. GG, fellas.
Good game.
You both of you guys did really well in that run.
Yeah, that run was a lot closer than our practice matches.
But yeah. That's it for Boris.
بلبنان عايشين في خيمتنا صايرة جملون عايشين فيها أنا وأمي وأخواتي وأبوي. أتذكر أحلامي الحلوة، أتذكر بيتنا كيف كان بس هلأ انهدم. نرجع على بيتنا ونعيش بسلام بس. لما جينا رحلنا لهون صار حالتنا ضيقة كتير. قمت أنا رحت أشتغل بالاستيراد. صار الزعران بعيطولي بيقولوا لي أنا بعطيك مصاري وتعي معي. شغل في زعران بيلطشونا بالمدرسة، ما في حدا بيلطشنا، في استاذية واستاذيات. تعلمت إنه نحن بهذا العمر لازم هلا بنكون على المدرسة منه نصير كبار. عطتنا مبلغ ساعدنا الأطفال.
Alright, welcome back everybody to Risk of Rain 2. We got Keto here with us once again after that fantastic race. How you feeling, buddy?
I'm feeling great. It was exciting. I had a good fun time. He's one of my good friends and I'm glad that he got to have fun as well.
Alright, well perfect. I wish you the best of luck in the run.
Thank you. So before we begin, for verification purposes, I actually have to start a run myself and then end it. So in Risk of Rain 2, you get artifacts, and you can click on them to essentially change the rules of the game. So this one will allow me to choose my items. This one will cause, instead of chests to spawn, enemies will drop items. This one is pretty mandatory. Allies deal 5% damage, but you get 10% health. And this one is artifacts of swarms. Monster spawns are doubled, but monster maximum health is halved. And we're going to play in Drizzle, of course, because speedrun purposes, easier is better. So obviously, this is what you do. We're not on time yet, so this is what I have to do. I have to leave so that I can guarantee that's not seated. And now we are ready to go. You all set? And are you all set?
You're just good to go when you are.
Alrighty. 3, 2, 1, go. So, Risk of Rain 2. Welcome to the amazing sequel to an already really fun game.